This video will present topics of murder, violence, and death. It is thus unsuitable for all audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
Saint Ansgar, also known as Ansgar or Oscar, was born in 801 AD in Corbie, a town in what is now northern France. He was of Frankish descent and received his early education at the Benedict Abbey of Corbie, a prominent center of learning and monastic life in the Carolingian Empire. The monastery was known for its intellectual and religious rigor, and it was here that Ansgar developed his deep piety and missionary zeal. At Corbie, Ansgar was influenced by the teachings of Saint Adelard, the abbot, who instilled in him a commitment to evangelization. Later, Ansgar moved to the newly founded Abbey of Corbie, New Corbie, in Saxony, where he continued his studies and became known for his devotion and ascetic lifestyle. Ansgar's missionary journey began in 826 when King Harold Clack of Denmark sought support from Emperor Louis the Pious, son of Charlemagne. Harold agreed to convert to Christianity in exchange for military and political support from the Franks. Ansgar was chosen to accompany Harold back to Denmark and preach Christianity to the Danes. Despite initial enthusiasm, the mission faced immense difficulties. Harold's rule was unstable, and his exile in 827 left Ansgar without protection. Nevertheless, Ansgar and his companion, Utbert, continued their missionary work. In 829, Ansgar extended his efforts to Sweden after King Bjorn at the court in Burka expressed his interest in Christianity. Ansgar traveled to Sweden, where he established the first known Christian mission in the country. He won the support of the local leaders and baptized a few converts, including Herigar, the governor of Burka, who later became a key Christian figure in Sweden. In recognition of his missionary work, Ansgar was appointed the first Archbishop of Hamburg in 831 by Emperor Louis the Pious. The newly created Archbishop Frederick was intended to be the base for further Christianization efforts in Scandinavia and northern Germany. The following year, Pope Gregory IV granted Ansgar the title of Papal Legate to the northern peoples, effectively making him the leading figure in Christianization of the North. To support his mission, Ansgar established a church and school in Hamburg. However, his efforts were severely disrupted in 845 when a fleet of Viking raiders sacked Hamburg, destroying the city and his cathedral. This forced Ansgar to flee, and his mission suffered a significant setback. After the destruction of Hamburg, Ansgar's authority was merged with the bishopric of Bremen in 848. He became the Archbishop of Hamburg-Bremen, a position that allowed him to continue his missionary efforts despite the earlier setbacks. From Bremen, Ansgar worked tirelessly to re-establish Christian missions in Denmark and Sweden. In Denmark, he gained the support of King Horik I, who, after initial resistance, permitted Ansgar to build churches in Hedeby, an important trading center. In Sweden, Ansgar returned to Burka and secured permission from King Olaf to continue his missionary works. He rebuilt the Christian community there and reinforced the faith among the converts. Ansgar's mission was fraught with challenges, including political instability, resistance from pagan leaders, and lack of resources. Many Scandinavians were hesitant to abandon their traditional beliefs, and Christian converts often faced persecution. However, Ansgar remained undeterred. He adopted a diplomatic approach, working with local rulers rather than against him, and emphasized acts of charity and service to the poor. One of his notable contributions was the establishment of churches, monasteries, and schools, which played a crucial role in spreading Christianity and educating future clergy. St. Ansgar died on February 3rd, 865, in Bremen. Though he did not live to see the full Christianization of Scandinavia, his pioneering efforts laid the foundation for future missionary work in the region. He was later canonized as a saint for the dedication to spreading Christianity and his unwavering faith in the face of adversity. Ansgar is venerated as the Apostle of the North, and his feast day is celebrated February 3rd. He remains a significant figure in the Christian history of Scandinavia, and his legacy is honored both in Catholic and Protestant traditions. In other words, St. Ansgar's life was marked by devotion, perseverance, unwavering commitment to spreading Christianity in hostile and unfamiliar lands. Despite numerous setbacks, his missionary work had a lasting impact on the religious landscape of the northern peoples. His efforts helped lay the groundwork for the eventual Christianization of Denmark and Sweden in the following centuries. Today, he's remembered not only as a saint, but also one of the earliest and most determined missionaries in the medieval church tradition. St. Ansgar, known as the Apostle of the North, has a rich and meaningful iconography that reflects his missionary work, spiritual dedication, and role in spreading Christianity to Scandinavia. His depiction in art, sculpture, and stained glass typically emphasizes his status as an archbishop and evangelist, while incorporating symbols related to his life and mission. Here's a brief but detailed analysis of his iconography. Ansgar is commonly depicted wearing archbishop's vestments, symbolizing his role as the Archbishop of Hamburg-Bremen. This includes a chasuble, or outer liturgical garment, a stole, which is a narrow band of cloth draped around the neck, a pallium, which is a woolen band with crosses granted by the Pope to high-ranking bishops, and an alb, a long white robe worn by clergy. It also includes a mitre, which is often shown, as a bishop. He is often shown wearing a mitre, the ceremonial headpiece of a bishop, indicated that his high ecclesiastical rank and authority. Ansgar also frequently is shown holding a crosier, which is a staff with a curved top, representing his role as a shepherd guiding the faithful. This may be decorated with Scandinavian or Carolingian motifs. He is sometimes portrayed holding a Bible or gospel book, signifying his role as a preacher and missionary. In some depictions, he also carries a scroll inscription, often representing the words of Christ or missionary decrees. Some depictions show him carrying a satchel or bag, referencing his long missionary journeys across Denmark and Sweden. Other additional iconographic elements include a ship or boat. A Viking-style ship or small missionary boat may be appearing in the background or at his feet, symbolizing his travels across the North Sea and Baltic regions. The ship sometimes bears a cross on its sail represent Christianization of the Nordic peoples. Many statues of Norse gods, such as Thor or Odin, may also be depicted toppled or broken or burning, symbolizing the triumph of Christianity over paganism. In some cases, Asgard is shown casting down an idol or standing beside a destroyed temple. He often carries a missionary cross, either a simple wooden cross or elaborate processional crucifix. Some depictions include Nordic style cross, emphasizing his connections to the Scandinavian peoples. A baptismal font may be shown at his side, signifying his role in baptizing new converts, particularly in Birka, Sweden. Some representations include angels guiding him, recalling the vision he reportedly had as a child of being called to heavenly mission. A divine light or dove above his head may symbolize the Holy Spirit inspiring his missionary work. Many animals also appear in his iconography, such as a wolf or bear. Sometimes these animals are depicted at his feet or beside him, referencing the dangers he faced in his travels and harsh wilderness of Scandinavia. The animal may also represent the untamed pagan lands that he sought to convert. A raven, a bird often associated with Odin in the Norse mythology, may be shown flying away or perching submissively, symbolizing the replacement of old beliefs with Christianity. An eagle, a traditional Christian symbol, may be included to signify divine strength. There are, of course, many different color symbolisms in his depictions. Red is often used for his chasuble or stole, representing martyrdom, missionary zeal, and the Holy Spirit. Gold embroidery or gold trimmed mitre may indicate his status as archbishop and his divine calling. Sometimes blue is used in his robe, symbolizing wisdom and divine protection during his missionary journeys. Green in backgrounds or details may symbolize new growth, the spread of Christianity, and hope for the conversion of Scandinavia. Many different background elements are used in his iconography. He may be depicted, for example, near or inside a church or cathedral, often symbolizing his work establishing Christian communities. The church may resemble early medieval Carolingian or Romanesque architecture. Some paintings show him preaching in a snow-covered or forest setting, reflecting the geography of Scandinavia. Occasionally, a Viking longhouse or a pagan temple may appear in the background, emphasizing the cultural setting of his missions. There have been many artistic traditions and variations in his iconography. Early manuscripts images depict him with simple robes, a cross, and a book. He's often in these as stylized and lack any kind of realistic facial features. Stained glass windows are common in Northern European churches. These often show Ansgar preaching, baptizing converts, or carrying a staff and a book. Many statues of St. Ansgar are found in cathedrals, particularly in Hamburg, Bremen, and Scandinavian churches. These frequently depict him in full archbishop regalia, holding a cross and blessing converts. In summary, Ansgar's iconography is deeply rooted in his identity as a missionary, bishop, and apostle to Scandinavia. His depictions often emphasize his ecclesiastical authority through vestments and crochets, while incorporating symbols of his missionary work, such as boats, Nordic landscapes, and defeat of pagan idols. Variations, of course, exist across different media, but the central themes of evangelizations, perseverance, and divine calling remain consistent throughout the artistic representations. Saint Asgar, the Apostle of the North, was renowned not only for his missionary zeal, but also for the miracles attributed to him during his and after his lifetime. His miracles are recorded primarily in the Vita Ansgari, or the life of Ansgar, written by his disciple and successor, Rembert, who reflects on his deep faith, divine favor, and the power of Christian prayer over adversity. Here's a brief and detailed account of the miracles. The first miracle was as a young boy. Ansgar experienced a vision of the Virgin Mary and angels who invited him to dedicate his life to God. This vision profoundly influenced his vocation, reinforcing his early commitment to monastic life and missionary work. Another event was during the time of personal hardship and doubt. Ansgar received another vision in which he was transported to a celestial realm and saw a throne prepared for him. A divine voice assured him of his mission, strengthened his resolve to continue evangelizing the pagans of Scandinavia. While traveling to Sweden on a missionary journey, Ansgar's ship was attacked by Viking pirates. He and his companions prayed fervently, and despite being robbed, they were miraculously spared from death, which was unusual since pirates often killed captured clergy. When the Viking raid of 845 led to the burning of Hamburg, Ansgar was inside the cathedral. Despite the flames engulfing the building, he escaped unarmed, which was seen as a sign of divine protection and endurance of his missions. One of Ansgar's most famous miracles involved a blind man in Bremen who, after being blessed by the saint and received his prayers, regained his sight. This miracle was widely regarded as a testament to Ansgar's holiness and divine favor. While in Birka, Sweden, a nobleman brought his critically ill child to Ansgar, hoping for a cure. Ansgar laid his hands on the child and prayed, after which the child miraculously recovered. This event led to the nobleman's conversion to Christianity. During his mission in Hedeby, Ansgar encountered a man afflicted with severe leprosy who was shunned by the community. Ansgar washed the man's wounds and prayed over him. Within days, the man's sores vanished. The healing was seen as a demonstration of Christ's power over sickness and a call to faith of the Danish people. A Norse priest in Sweden, known for his fierce opposition to Christianity, became violently possessed by an evil spirit. After repeated pagan rituals failed to cure him, his family reluctantly sought Ansgar's help. Ansgar prayed over the man and made the sign of the cross, causing the spirit to leave him. Following this event, several people in the region converted to Christianity. In one account, Ansgar entered a pagan temple and boldly smashed a wooden temple idol of Thor. Unlike others who had previously attempted this and suffered divine retribution, according to local belief, Ansgar was unharmed, demonstrating the power of Christian God over pagan deities. While traveling through a remote area with his companions, they ran out of food. Ansgar prayed, and their small portion of bread miraculously multiplied. allowing them to continue their journey without suffering from hunger. On another one of his missionary voyages, a violent storm threatened to capsize Ansgar's ship. He knelt and prayed for divine intervention, after which the winds suddenly calmed and they reached their destination safely. This miracle had led some of the sailors and locals to recognize Ansgar's divine protection. After Ansgar's passing in 865, many pilgrims who visited his tomb in Bremen reported experiencing miraculous healings. Some were cured of blindness, paralysis, and fevers simply by touching his burial site. Decades after his passing, the city of Bremen was threatened by Viking raiders again. As the attacks neared, a group of Christian monks saw heavenly visions of Saint Ansgar standing on the city walls, and the raiders unexpectedly turned away. This event was seen as a sign of his continued protection over the Christian communities he had founded. Saint Ansgar's miracles encompass divine visions, acts of healing, deliverance from danger, exorcism, triumph over paganism, and posthumous intercessions. Each miracle reinforced his mission and contributed to the spread of Christianity in Scandinavia. His unwavering faith and miraculous deeds established his legacy as a saint and protector of the Church in the North, inspiring generations of believers. The canonization of Saint Ansgar, the Apostle of the North, was not a formalized process in the medieval period as it would be in later centuries. Instead, his recognition as a saint followed the earlier traditions of local veneration, episcopal approval, and papal recognition. Here's a brief account of how Saint Ansgar became a recognized saint. Upon his passing on February 3rd, 865, in Bremen, Saint Ansgar and his disciples and successors, particularly his biographer Rimpert, encouraged devotion to his memory. Rimpert's Vita Ansgari, or Life of Ansgar, written shortly after his passing, documented his missionary work, piety, and miracles, which played a crucial role in his recognition as a saint. His burial site in Bremen quickly became a site of pilgrimage, with reports of miraculous healings and attributions to his intercessions. Ansgar's successors, including Rimpert, his immediate successor as Archbishop of Hamburg, Bremen, actively promoted his legacy. Clergy and faithful in Hamburg and Bergen began observing his feast day every 3rd of February, commemorating his passing. Churches and monasteries in northern Germany and Scandinavia honored him in their prayers, reinforcing his local cult. Since the formal canonization by the Pope was not yet a common practice, Ansgar recognition as a saint followed the episcopal canonization model, where the local bishop authorized veneration. The Archdiocese of Hamburg-Bremen played a crucial role in spreading his cult, with bishops endorsing his sainthood based on his holy life and posthumous miracles. Over time, clergy in Denmark and Sweden also began acknowledging him as a saint, reinforcing his status beyond his home diocese. By the 11th century, the Church began centralizing the canonization process under papal authority. While no formal papal bull exists from this period explicitly canonizing Ansgar, records suggest the Pope Gregory VII, who reigned from 1073 to 1085 affirmed his sainthood by approving his feast day and veneration. The papal endorsement solidified his status across Christendom, ensuring that he was venerated not only in Northern Europe but also other parts of the Holy Roman Empire. As Denmark, Sweden, and Norway became increasingly Christianized, Ansgar's status as the first missionary to the region made him a key religious figure. Scandinavian churches dedicated altars and chapels in his honor, and his feast day was incorporated into local liturgical calendars. By the 12th century, Ansgar's feast was formally recognized by the Roman Catholic Church's liturgical calendar, particularly in Northern Europe dioceses. The Missal and Bavaria, Hamburg, Bremen included special prayers and readings dedicated to him, reinforcing his ecclesiastical recognition. The translation or formal movement of his relics to a more prominent church or shrine was a common practice for recognized saints. His remains were enshrined in Bremen Cathedral, further legitimizing his veneration. Although his veneration was widely accepted by the 12th century, official papal canonization processes became more structured under Pope Innocent III, who reigned from 1198 to 1216, and by Pope Gregory IX, who reigned from 1227 to 1241. It is likely that Pope Gregory IX, who formalized the canonization process, reaffirmed Ansgar's sainthood, though documentation from this period remains scarce. During the Reformation, the Lutheran Church in Scandinavia and northern Germany retained Ansgar as a historical figure of religious importance, even as it distanced itself from traditional saint veneration. The Catholic Church continued to uphold his sainthood, and his feast day remains in the general Roman calendar. The Catholic Church continues to celebrate his feast day on February 3rd, especially in the Archdiocese of Hamburg and other parts of Northern Europe. He is recognized as the patron saint of Scandinavia, a title affirming his historical role in the Christianization of the region. While the Lutheran tradition does not officially venerate saints in the same way as Catholicism, Ansgar is honored as a key historical figure in bringing Christianity to Denmark and Sweden. These two countries have several Lutheran churches that bear his name. Saint Ansgar also became the symbol of Christian unity and mission work, honored by both Catholics and Protestants for pioneered efforts in evangelization. Is legal and frequently invoked in modern interfaith dialogues between Roman Catholic Church and Lutheran Church in Scandinavia. In summary, St. Ansgar canonization followed the medieval tradition of local veneration, episcopal recognition, and later papal endorsement rather than a formalized investigation as seen in later centuries. His cult grew organically, supported by miraculous accounts, official liturgical inclusion, and papal affirmation. Over time, his sainthood has reaffirmed across Catholic and Lutheran traditions, ensuring his legacy as the Apostle of the North remains central in the religious history of Scandinavia.